So before we wrap this tonight, I want to start with you, Matthew. What is a sleeper race out there that you're watching and we should all be paying attention to?
Um, well, maybe it's not a sleeper race, but I think it will shatter. It will make huge tidal waves on election day. Is I think Talarico. I think Talarico's going to win.
When you
And
you spend so much time in Texas, tell us why.
well, one, he's a really good candidate. He represents change because just how young he is, how he comes across. He's a person of faith, which in Texas is incredibly important. And he speaks the
Mhm.
language because he went to seminary school.
Mhm.
And then he's running against a criminal. I mean, I think he would still had a realistic shot at beating Cornyn if Cornyn won the primary, but that didn't happen. And he's got more. He's raising more money than you can imagine. I mean, he's
Mhm.
raising, I mean, 5, 6 times what Paxton is raising, and I think that race will cause a huge tectonic shift in the plates if all of a sudden a statewide race is won in Texas by a Democrat. That changes the calculation for a whole bunch of stuff, including a presidential race.
Joe, you host On the Ground for us here. You've been all over the country. What's a race that you're keeping your eye on?
Well, first of all, I agree with Matthew about Talarico. I think he's going to win that. I think he's a great candidate. Um, I, uh, some of them aren't sleepers anymore. I mean, like Iowa is just, I mean, I think Rob Sanders is going to win that. I think Turek. I mean, we all got to do the work. They've got to keep the campaigns going. But I think that I think there's going to be some races that, uh, I mean, literally across the South, Florida, Alabama, uh, the Carolinas. I think we're going to have some real surprises there in both the House and like governor. Like I would not go to sleep on David Jolly having a shot against
I agree
uh,
with that.
Donald's in Florida. It by no stretch is that is that like, oh yeah, bet on that. But I think all the pieces are in place there. And Donald's is such a horrible candidate, and Jolly is turning out to be, I think, just a fantastic, one of the best candidates we have out there in races that people aren't really paying attention to or writing off because, gosh, Florida's too expensive, all that stuff. But I'm not sure the money, and Donald's has plenty of it, by the way. I mean, probably be outspending Jolly 10-1 or something like that. I don't know. I think there's you and Matthew can tell you this too. You can have somebody with that much money, but it's diminishing returns. And I think the fight for change this year can lift some boats that no one's thinking about right now. And I think that's what I think is going to happen. There are going to be some Senate. This reminds me of like 94 and 1980, where you'd go to sleep or wake up on election day thinking like 3 or 4 Democrats are going to go out the window. And 1980, we lost 12 U.S. senators. At 94, we lost, I think, 54 House seats and like 8 or 9 U.S. senators lost the Senate. I think that's going to be this is going to be that kind of year, but the other way.
Yeah,
Because
and
I
what you're,
agree.
I think you're gonna, I think we're gonna know early on what's happening on election night,
Mm.
because I think what you're gonna see is you're gonna see some people that thought solid Republicans didn't have an
Right.
opponent are gonna either lose or it's gonna be really close.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree with that. 100%.
Well, Florida is a great state for us to keep our eye on because they always report early. And if David Jolly is shocking everyone, that will probably be a pretty good indication that it's going to be a good night for the Democrats.
Well, the one sleeper issue, it's not sleeper either, is data centers. What's amazing, what's
Oh,
happening is
absolutely.
the Republican Party has got a ton of, Donald's is one, Tuberville in Alabama. Obviously, Trump has been a AI data center enthusiast accelerator. And in Alabama, it's like, hell no. I mean, and
It's
so
one of
like
the Joe. It's one of the only issues that unites
yeah,
equally Republicans, Democrats, and Independents.
exactly. And Tuberville's on the wrong side of that, and Doug Jones is for a 1-year moratorium. I mean, Jolly's got a similar situation going on in Florida, and so that's what I'm saying. I just think there's some real roiling going on here, where there are some, like the data centers, where Democrats and Independents and Republicans are all in lockstep to slow this thing down, and the Republicans, a lot of these candidates are like, hell no, we cannot lose to China. Forget about your jobs, forget about your electricity bills, and it's not working. It's not working at all. So I think we're going to see some surprises. I would not go to sleep on some of these Southern governors races and I just think you're going to wake up, and I do think there will be some senators on the Republican side who no one thinks are in trouble today, who wake up, it was like really close, or they got squeaked out by somebody. If you look at some of these, like even Mississippi, that race, it's 4 or 5. They're both in the 40s. I mean, like the races. There are a lot of Republican incumbents out there. Tuberville's in the 40s. No, they're not above 50, many of them. And I think that's always a really bad sign when you're in the party that has the real power and you're an incumbent. You do not want to be in the mid or low 40s. And they've got several of them that are in that position. Hinson in Iowa is another one.